It is coming. There we go. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Killer Author Club. We are so excited for this episode tonight because we have a super special killer guest, multiple New York Times bestselling author, Patricia Cornwell. Yes, that Patricia Cornwell. Tonight, we'll be talking about her amazing career and her new release, Unnatural Death, which I'm so excited to talk about. And it's the latest installment in her long-running and best-selling Kay Scarpetta series. So we have tons to talk about. So grab your cocktails, your list of questions for Patricia, and sit tight. We will see you on the other side.
Thought you really loved me. Guess I was wrong. Thought you'd never leave me. Guess I was dumb. Waited like forever to be your plus one, but I guess you were done.
Hi, everyone. Thank you. And oh my goodness, the numbers are racking up. It's so great to see so many people here tonight. So thank you. I'm Killer Heather Goodenkoff, along with founding members Kara Ruda and Kimberly Bell. We are so incredibly excited to welcome Patricia Cornwell to the clubhouse. The Killers and I started the Killer Author Club so that readers like you can interact with some of the best suspense and thriller authors in the biz. Killers like Patricia Cornwell. Our spring and winter's lineup also includes superstars like Frida McFadden, Nita Prose, B.A. Paris, Lisa Gardner, and so many more. Dates, times, everything you need to know can be found at killerauthorclub.com. And so tonight, we're here with Killer Patricia to talk about all things killing, of the fictional kind, of course. So make sure to drop your questions and comments in the comment box. And though we won't be able to get to all of them, we will sure do our best to get to as many of them as we can. Now, remember, if you're watching this on Facebook or have a Facebook account, check out our public group, Killer Author Club. Or if you're a really hardcore killer, join us in our private member-only group called the Killer Author Clubhouse, where we pick a winner each episode for some really fun swag. We also have a YouTube channel where you can find us on your you can flash us up on your big screen TV, and you'll find us wasting way too much time on all the social medias. So make sure you check us out there. So without further ado, Kara, can you please introduce our killer guest?
I would be honored to. All right. In 1990, Patricia Cornwell sold her first novel, Postmortem, while working at the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner in Richmond, Virginia. An auspicious debut, it went on to win the Edgar, Creasy, Anthony, and McCavity Awards, as well as the French I can't pronounce this, du Roman d'Adventure Prize, something like that, but it's a huge prize. The first book ever to claim all these distinctions in a single year. Growing into an international phenomenon, the Scarpetta series won the Cornwell the Sherlock Award for Best Detective, created by an American author, the Gold Dagger Award, the RBA Thriller Award, and the Medal of Chevalier of the Order of Arts and Letters for her contributions to literary and artistic development. So amazing. Anyway, today's Cornwell's novels and iconic characters are known around the world. Beyond the Scarpetta series, Cornwell has written the definitive nonfiction account of Jack the Ripper's identity, cookbooks, a children's book, a biography of Ruth Graham, and two other fictional series based on the characters Wynne Garno and Andy Brazil. While writing Quantum, Cornwell spent 2 years researching space technology and robotics at Captain Callie Chase's former home base, NASA's Langley Research Center, and studied cutting-edge law enforcement and security techniques with the Secret Service, the U.S. Air Force, NASA Protective Services, Scotland Yard, and Interpol. Badass. Okay. Cornwell was born in Miami. She grew up in Montreal, North Carolina, and now lives and works in Boston and Los Angeles. And as Heather said, Patricia, we're so honored to have you here. Welcome.
Well, thank you. This is a great, we're a dangerous group of people here. I'm not sure we're legal. Really?
I know.
The four of us, I'm not so sure.
I love it. Okay.
Wait till we start drinking, it will get worse.
I know, right?
It usually does, for sure. Okay. So, Patricia, let's dive in. Can you give us the quick elevator pitch for Unnatural Death?
Well, let me just tell you this. I got the idea about a year ago from just something strange. I saw something on the internet, a surveillance photograph that was taken in a park in Texas that showed this enormous, big footprint, big. And you know what's going through your mind about, the whole thing about Bigfoot. And I just started thinking, wouldn't it be a very strange thing if you had a terrible crime scene out in the middle of nowhere in the woods in the northern part of Virginia, and something like that was found? What would Scarpetta do? What do you think? What is she going to think? And so this is how it opens. She's on her way out of the office to this uninhabited forest about 60 miles from there, where nobody's really supposed to have been for about 200 years because it's old gold mines that were shut down way before the Civil War. And there are real areas like this, by the way. And there's a couple. They were camping. What they were doing camping out there doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And they're both dead. He is like 20 feet down in a mine shaft. She's floating in this polluted little lake that's out in the middle of the woods. They're impaled by their hiking poles. But what so really throws a terrible monkey wrench into this is this big footprint that's found inside the old gold mine in the dirt. And so I let Scarpetta loose on this, the hardest crime scene she's ever had to deal with. And I will tell you up front, Bigfoot did not do it. Okay. I am not going to have that poor thing blamed for something and have people going out trying to catch him or shoot him. Don't anybody mess with Bigfoot. Okay. He's nice. In fact, he witnessed this and he actually turns out to be a little helpful in his own way.
Love it.
Love it.
Loved it. And I loved all the banter about Bigfoot. Some people believing that he existed and others who were like, oh, come on.
It's like everything, like UFOs, I mean, ghosts, but yet you do have to start wondering when these things are so pervasive and around the world and have been talked about for hundreds, if not thousands of years, and depicted in artwork, like their depictions of Bigfoot in pictographs that the Native Americans were doing. I mean, one of them that you can look up is like about 1,000 years old, and they're depicting this long, furry, creature. It's fascinating stuff. And there were fossils, found. That's how we know what Bigfoot is to begin with. People just don't think he's supposed to be in North America. But I'm not sure Bigfoot ever got that memo. So I think he's wherever the heck he wants to be.
No kidding. Oh my gosh, that's fun. Okay, so Kimberly, will you introduce the killer cocktail, please?
Yes, I would be loving that because Patricia has chosen Añejo tequila as her special drink. Patricia, you want to tell us why you chose this?
Well, Añejo tequila, unlike, when we used to get the margaritas by the pitcher and then you're in the ICU for about a week after that. I mean, a really nice Añejo or other kinds of tequila too, but a really nice tequila is really like a fine whiskey. And so it's a wonderful flavor and you put it on the rocks, or you can put a little palm or some kind of juice in it. That the antioxidants, doesn't that counter everything else? Am I mistaken? That's according to Marino. Scarpetta would have a different story, but it's a lovely drink, and it's tequila makes you feel good. Good tequila makes you feel good.
Until you drink too much tequila, and then it makes you feel really bad.
Too much of any of it makes you feel pretty bad, that's for sure.
But I do love a sipping tequila, so cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers and congratulations on read.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, Natural Death is the 27th book in the much celebrated and beloved Kay Scarpetta series. And I know I've been reading since the beginning. I think 1990 was when the first book came out, but rave reviews all around through the years. The New York Times book review says Dr. Kay Scarpetta, who keeps us coming back to Patricia Cornwell's sprawling crime novels, is one tough broad. And Kirkus Review says Patricia Cornwell is a masterful Mysterian. And so, Patricia, we want to get inside that mind of yours that has created this amazing character that many of us have traveled through the years with. So we have our killer question for you, which this time is, when do you spend your time killing?
When do I kill in the book, or when do I kill the rest of the time? Because if there's the rest of the time, I hope there are no police listening to this right now. But that's if you're talking about in the sense of the story. It's a very good question. Actually, never been asked this before, but because there is a timing. I mean, if you really, I mean, to me, you've got to have something already in the works when you start, so that people go, "What is it? What is it? What's just happened?" And then when you really get into that one, you've got to kind of have the next explosion ready to go off, or because you got to keep the story popping, you got to keep the energy going. So it's sort of an instinct, but when I'm thinking ahead, I kind of already know certain scenes I'm going to have and certain people that are going to have to die, unfortunately. And now it's harder because with the TV show that's in the works, Jamie Lee Curtis told me, she said, you cannot just kill people off anymore without asking us first. And so that's posed some interesting hurdles for me when I don't like certain characters, even now. And I go, I can't get rid of them. We'll have to do something else evil to them.
Right. No. Yeah, they're Hollywood stars now. It's protected.
So
It's funny.
can you tell us more about the series and when we can expect it, or any inside scoop for our
Well, it's going to be fabulous. Amazon Studios is going to be doing it, and it's starring Nicole Kidman is playing Scarpetta, and Jamie Lee Curtis is playing her sister Dorothy. And I can't wait to see, especially what Jamie's going to do to Dorothy, because Dorothy's already such a character and funny and so extroverted and such a troublemaker. And Nicole Kidman is it's going to be fascinating to watch what she does, because she's very quiet and mysterious, and that's very similar to our friend Scarpetta. You know, you're looking at her and you don't really know what's going through her mind, and you don't know what she's thinking about anybody, but trust me, she is.
Absolutely.
Nicole is going to be fantastic in that role. She's yeah.
And I don't know in terms of calendar, things got delayed because of the strikes, but I know that they're already back talking and doing whatever. I mean, this is going to happen.
Yeah.
God willing, the world's still here. It's finally going to happen.
That's amazing. Are you involved in the script writing of it?
No, I'm not. I'm an executive producer on it, and I'll be helpful in any way that's needed. But they have a showrunner and their own writers. They all are familiar or will be with the books, and the show will be very book centric in terms of, it's not like it's going to be brand new stories. It's going to be very much inspired by the original stories, which I think is one of the reasons it will work this time, because earlier efforts didn't do that. It was just like, let's take the character and write brand new stories.
Yeah.
And that's difficult. I mean, I know how hard it is for me to write a brand new story. So I think this has a better chance. I think it will.
Yeah.
It's going to be great, actually.
It sounds like it. Sounds so exciting. So I was going to ask you that if other people had tried to adapt and it just didn't, come through.
Scarpetta has been optioned since 1989.
Oh my gosh.
And this is, I mean, there have been so many times when I thought it was, this time it's going to happen, this time. But we never got as far as we are now. We never got to a point where there was a deal with a studio that, actually, stars signed up. So this is, and a showrunner and a writer's room. I mean, this is going to happen this time.
Absolutely. Congratulations. That's so
Thank you.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
So
Amazing.
Let me just say one quick thing when we were talking about all the books that I've written, and do I have this? It always looks backwards. You don't have to have read any of them to read this. Really, to read any of them, you don't, because they're all freestanding, but they build on each other. But in particular, Unnatural Death. If you've not read any Scarpettas, or maybe you haven't read any in a number of years, you don't have to feel like, oh my God, I got to go catch up. You just start with this one, and you will know exactly everything you need to know, and you will have a good time. And if you want to read the other ones, go ahead, but you don't have to.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you can jump right in. And one of the things about your books that I've loved through the years is you're so up on the latest technology. I think I went and reread Postmortem recently, and even then it was top of the line, but we were dealing with audio tapes and, you know, big servers. And now in a natural death, we have drones and satellite phones and tricked out helicopters. How do you stay so up to date?
Well, you know, I've always continued to do research. And what also happens is, you know, I make friends,
Yeah.
you know, you detectives or Secret Service agents or, you know, scientists, all kinds of people. And if you become friends with people, you sort of pick up a lot through osmosis, but it's just something I always stay up with, I stay current with. And I have consultants that I use, like people from NASA, excuse me. So if I want to discuss really unusual technologies, but want to make sure that it's credible, I have really good people I can bounce ideas off of. We get on the phone and we talk about things. You know, for Bigfoot, for example, I talked to Jeff Meldrum, who's probably the world's foremost expert on Bigfoot. He teaches anthropology and anatomy out in Idaho, and so, you know, you listen to the real people. And why do you think this footprint's real? Why are you convinced? And they explain that the anatomy of it is such that he can tell from the way the muscles were moving in the foot when that footprint was left, that the creature was actually looking over the right shoulder, looking back at something, looking at it. And the way you know, so you recreate all this through motion. And then, of course, Scarpetta has tools in her toolbox: DNA, trace evidence. What left this? When was this footprint left? Let's start with that. Was it even left recently? And if it's left inside a gold mine, it might have been protected from the weather. How do you know that was left then? Maybe it was left at an earlier date. And we'll trace evidence such as pollen, something tracked in. Will that tell us the answer? And oh, I bet it will. And once again, Bigfoot didn't do it. I have to say that. I don't want him mad at me.
He'll come after you. No, but that's what's so fascinating, I think, about your books, is because all these different things, and it just feels so new and fresh, you know, when you're reading it.
Well, it's always, you know, I always like to ask the what if thing. And for a good example is, so you have the two people that are out in the woods and they're wanted by the Secret Service for massive cyber crimes. And that's why they're hiding out there and doing all sorts of mischief. But when they'd set up trail cameras, you know, between sort of the mainland, you might say, civilization and where they are. That they burned a little trail through the woods out in the middle of nowhere, and they had cameras set up because they're bad people and they want to make sure no one's coming looking for them. Well, imagine what that would be like at 1 or 2 or something in the morning when it's raining and pitch dark and you're in your tent and the motion sensors get triggered on the cameras. And you can hear something big lumbering down this path in the middle of nowhere, and they can they can see branches moving out of the way and leaves being kicked around, but they can't see what's doing it. It's invisible to the cameras, but it's coming for them. And so I have to figure out technologically, how is that possible? And I'm not going to tell you how it's possible, but trust me, it is. And once it gets there, it's not a pretty picture.
Terrifying. And this is why I don't go out in the woods.
This is why I don't go anywhere.
Yeah. That's why we're writers.
I'm afraid to leave the house.
Exactly. Yeah. There's too much danger out there. We just like to write about it. I think
it's true.
One of the questions that we've had for you was, will you pen an autobiography for your fans of your life, since you've led such an amazing life, even though I know that you do go outside of your house?
Well, are you asking, like, would I write an autobiography?
Yeah.
You know, maybe someday. I don't feel like doing that now because I don't feel like looking back. I keep looking forward. And in a weird way, I live out a lot of things in my life through the Scarpetta series because we do a lot of the same things. I have to go learn something. And then I understand, and we kind of play off each other that way. It's a weird thing. But maybe someday I will. You know, one of the things that would bother me a lot about doing my own memoir is I don't want to hurt people. And I have to wait for a lot of people to transition to the other side. When they're gone, so, you know, then I can say, okay, now, all right, hold on. Now we're going to talk some stuff. Or we're going to have a drink and we're going to talk some stuff.
Absolutely. Love it.
Love it.
Well, and I think we all remember, picking up our first Patricia Cornwell book and, being blown away at how you've created such a strong, memorable, really badass character in Kay Scarpetta. And did you have a sense at any point early on what an impact you would have on the genre and on other writers?
No, no. I'm not even sure I have much of a sense of it now, but I surely did not in the beginning. I mean, I was just trying to do something that worked, because everything I tried had failed. I wrote a novel in college, that nobody ever saw, nor should they. And then I went to the morgue to do the research, and I wrote, each year was a new book, 3 years in a row. And then when you're working on the next one, you're getting the rejection letters from the last one. And that's the worst feeling. We all know what it's like. It is the worst feeling. And so, then somebody told me, an editor said, your best character is a medical examiner. You should try making her the main character. And also you write work in the morgue now. I mean, what do you see there? Do you see the stuff you're writing about? And I thought, no, I don't. I was reading Dorothy Sayers and Agatha Christie and trying to learn how to write things that were more cozies in some way. But then you throw in an autopsy in the middle of it. And it was like, that's not working very well. You've got buried treasure and cheated wills and all of a sudden 20 pages of guts all over the table. So, I tried to reflect the real world that I was seeing, and it seemed to it started working, but I never thought of changing anything. I didn't realize that what I was really doing was making a whole new world accessible to other people. Mm. That would be the world of forensics. Mm-hmm. Nobody knew anything much about it, and it was too difficult to go in labs or watch autopsies or anything and think you were going to know about it. I mean, I had to go work there. I thought I was just going to cruise in and out, and 6 years later, here I was. Yeah. But that's what I needed to have happen.
Groundbreaking, really.
Yeah, it's, they always say write what you know, but it does take, especially in those first few books, it takes a minute to find the kind of story you want to write. And
I was very lucky in that I didn't know anything. Yeah. So that's why I do so much research. When I was in college, I had a necklace with a little rectangle on it that you're supposed to get your initials engraved on, but I left it blank because I said, I am a tabula rasa. I'm a blank slate. I don't know anything, and I'm going to a college where I don't belong. And so I've just always approached life as if I don't know anything, and probably because it's mostly true. So I have to go learn. I go learn everything. And I'm not a doctor who then writes about it. I was someone who was an English major who didn't know much about anything. So I just go out and learn, and I still do.
And make stuff up, right? And that's the magic.
As long as it's within the realm of possibility, you can. And by the way, a lot of things you make up will end up being true. Yeah. I mean, there are things that I have had technologically, even in this new book. If you Google any of it, it's out there. You just may not see it because it's early stages, but almost anything you can think of, actually. Look at Star Trek and how much of all that is true today.
Yeah. Yeah.
So great.
Bigfoot, he's real.
What's your take on Bigfoot? Are you a believer?
I think it's a very strong possibility Bigfoot is still around. And yes, it's just everything that I've read and talking to people who've had their own experiences. If you really want to get an earful, listen to 911 calls. I started doing that, and I think I was sitting there the rest of the day with my hair sticking straight up, like I was in weightlessness on the space station. It's what these people are seeing. They believe they're seeing it, and that Bigfoot existed in Asia. They found fossils in caves there. That's how we know what this thing is, the giant ape, or Gigantopithecus, I think it's called. That was probably about 10 feet tall, 1,000 pounds or so. The males, they know this from fossils. They just didn't assume it ever came to North America, but during the Ice Age, it could have traversed the land bridges when the waters would go low and the land bridges formed. And it could have crossed from what's today Siberia into what's today Alaska. You're only talking about 300 miles when there was the land bridge. And the early humans came across. Why wouldn't they? They were two-legged. And actually, they had a nice fur coat built in, and we didn't. So I think Bigfoot's out there, and I think he's very wise to stay away from us.
Yeah.
I think so.
I love it. We keep getting a bunch of questions about Lucy. Have they cast Lucy in the book?
When this was all getting started, the TV deal, the strike started. So including the actor strike, which has just ended. So as far as I know, only Nicole Kidman and Jamie Lee Curtis have been cast so far. But I can't wait to see who Lucy's going to be. I can't wait to see Marino and Benton. No, we better hope that Scarpetta likes her Benton.
Sure.
Better hope.
For sure. Because we met Lucy when she was 10 years old. And so it's been just so cool to see her grow up through the book.
Well, and the fun thing is with TV, you'll probably meet her again when she's 10 through flashbacks and other things.
Yeah.
Because the new books like A Natural Death can bounce off something from the earlier stuff when Scarpetta was getting started and Lucy was a kid. They're very talented people involved in all this. And I can't wait to see what they write, because this is where you take something and you translate it into a whole nother art form.
Mhm.
And
Exciting.
I think it's going to be great. Fun.
Oh, yeah. So
I
great.
love
Oh, no. Do we have to go on to the next segment? I just want to sit here and have you talk at us.
I know. But we're having such a good time, and we'll have to do this again. I'm researching UFOs now. So just big hint, you don't know what's going to happen in the next one.
Yeah.
I'm
There'll be
excited.
something that Scarpetta's going to say, oh my God, would that woman ever leave me alone?
All right. So you'll have to come back when that comes out.
And we'll
That
talk
would be my
about it.
pleasure. We'll do it.
And Patricia is giving away one copy of A Natural Death to one lucky US viewer. So all you guys have to do to enter is answer this question about our guest, and we'll choose a winner from all the correct answers. Bonus points for joining the Killer Author Clubhouse or subscribing to our YouTube channel. Okay, the question is, where was Patricia working when she sold her first novel, Postmortem?
What could it be? What could it be? And you guys, if you've ever watched the Killer Author Club before, you know that we love our indies and we love to support them in any way we can, which is why we've partnered with bookshop.org. We have our very own Killer Author Club store on their website where you can find all our books from guests past, present, and future, as well as some fun lists that three of us have put together. We'll be dropping that link in the comments in just a second. But in the meantime, and speaking of indies, Patricia has two favorites.
That's right. We've got Porter Square Books in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and Vroman's Bookstore in Southern California.
That's in California. We are bi-coastal tonight.
Yes.
So tell us, Patricia, why you chose these two.
Well, it just seemed like a perfect venue for throwing a really fun Scarpetta party. and so, it's going to be awesome.
I love it. Well, I will be dropping those links in the comments, and you can go and pre-order her book and any other of the Scarpetta books that you would like to order. Add them all.
I promise you're going to have fun with the new one. I'm going to take you on a romp unlike anything you've been on before.
I am nodding wholeheartedly with that. Agree.
And, as much as we'd love to invite all the amazing killer authors who to be on our show, there are so many, only three of us, but we can't let this evening go by without celebrating a very special release in our Killer Authors Celebrate section. And we have The Beautiful and the Wild by Peggy Townsend. It's out now. A cryptic text leads Liv Russo to suspect her dead husband may actually be alive and living in the Alaskan wilderness. Heading north with her son, Liv soon discovers that the most dangerous things in the wild may not be starvation, cold, or grizzly bears, or maybe even Bigfoot, but the person that you love. So check out The Beautiful and the Wild by Peggy Townsend, and congratulations to her.
And as you guys know who watched before, Killer Author Clubhouse has its privileges. So if you join our private Facebook group, every episode we select one of the members there to win some swag. So we have hats and t-shirts and coffee cups and water bottles, all kinds of stuff. So today's lucky winner is Lori Alcon Brown. So Lori, reach out to one of the killers and we will send some swag your way.
Absolutely. Congrats, Laurie. And Patricia, we have really great news for you. You have survived the Killer Author Club.
Woo, woo.
Well, I've heard rumors that not everybody does.
That's right.
But the
That's
good
right.
news is if I didn't, I know who will do my autopsy. And I'll just ask her not to laugh at my pictures and not to circulate them, please.
And we have a few witnesses too. So yeah, I think
That's
you'd be
right.
just good. But congrats and thank you for being here. This was so much fun.
Well, thank you for having me. This has been a blast.
Yeah, thank you so much. And, for everyone out there who are tuning in with us tonight. And it's just been such a treat. I think we're all on cloud nine that we've had the opportunity to meet with you, Patricia, and learn all about a natural death. And so thank you so much for that. And I hope you stick around for just a minute longer. But as a reminder to everybody, book bloggers and reviewers can snag Kimberly's upcoming thriller, The Paris Wife, from NetGalley right now. And right now you can order Kara's latest heart pounder, Beneath the Surface, which is out now, and pre-order her new one, Under the Palms, also available on NetGalley. And finally, if you'd like to snag your very own copy of my upcoming release, Everyone is Watching, Goodreads is giving away 10 copies. So check that out as well. We'll be back tomorrow night, Tuesday, November 14th at 9 Eastern with the amazing Michelle Campbell to talk about her book, The Intern. So for our full schedule, dates and times and past episodes, recipes and merch, surf on over to the Killer Author Club. See you all tomorrow.
I guess I'm a killer through our love into